Hello and welcome, everyone. I'm Lishan Huang, and you are attending the AIGA Portfolio Festival. Thank you for joining us today as we kick off our second annual AIGA Portfolio Festival. This event is brought to you by members of AIGA, the Professional Association for Design, with the generous support of 3M, Adobe, Adobe Design, Datadog, and Johnson & Johnson Design. Now it's my pleasure to welcome Zipeng Zhu. Zipeng is a Chinese-born designer, art director, illustrator, and animator in New York City who wants to make every day a razzle-dazzle musical. His clients include Coca-Cola, Microsoft, Netflix, Viacom, The New Yorker, Fox, CNN, Refinery 29, Chobani, and Samsung. After he graduated from the School of Visual Arts in New York City, he worked at Pentagram and Sagmeister and Walsh. He was one of the Art Directors Club Young Guns 13 winners and has been recognized as Print Magazine's New Visual Artist and the One Show Young Ones. His work has been exhibited all over the world, including New York, Barcelona, Dubai, Mumbai, Shanghai, and other major museums and institutions. He recently started his own creative studio, Dazzle, to make everything dazzling. Please welcome Zipeng.
Hello, everybody. I am so excited to be here and then talk about making work in response to time. And let me just dive right into it because we have, roughly 45 minutes, but with somewhat over 300 slides. So there's a lot for you today. Just strap in and it's about to go down or go up to you.
The following presentation contains a ton of bad words and inappropriate or adult subject matter. Viewer discretion advised. So if you can't handle it, now is time for you to leave. It's okay, you won't hurt my feelings. There's absolutely no proof but the following slides cause epileptic seizures. But now I've said you so you can't sue me.
So there's gonna be some flashing graphics coming your way, so just be prepared.
Are we doing okay so far?
Hello, everybody. Hello. And here are some flaming XOXO for AIGA. Thank you so much for having me. It's such an honor to be, I think, the first keynote today. It's such a dream come true. I remember when I was a student, I definitely, go to all the AIGA events, and I was very lucky to be on the AIGA New York board for 1 year. From 2019 to 2020, and we all know what happened afterwards. So that being said, let's keep going.
This is me. And this is me taking a selfie.
And my initials are in a lot of words, Dazzle, Razzle, Pizza, Blizzard, and you name it, puzzles. And I'm an artist, designer, art director, illustrator, also an animator. Man with many hats. However, the goal is simple. I just want to make every day a razzle dazzle musical. And if you're curious about me, because you can use this handle to find me everywhere on the internet. Yeah. And today, the talk, it's called Now is Wow. In the past 2 years, I had this very strong sense of understanding of making work in response of time has been very beneficial, not only to my work, but also hopefully I can give back a lot. So this talk is going to be so much on this topic in particular. And the way that's structured, I'm going to show you a lot of the stuff that I make on my own in response to what's happening in my life or in the world, and also how those work lead me into commercial work. And that's the basic setup. And hopefully that could be helpful for you as well. So we are in July. However, we just got out of the Pride Month. And every year, Pride Month, it's one of the most busiest time for me because, I'm a flaming homosexual. And when it's around, I don't know, May 30th I just can smell the love in the air. And that's the time that I start to get prepared for the Pride Month. And because I am a gay graphic designer, so I just call myself a gay fic designer. So I do a lot of rainbow inspired work. And for example, I've created a hello, my name is sticker for people in my community to introduce themselves with either their preferred pronoun or their sexual orientation. And this year, I was also very lucky to be a part of Foundation, the NFT platform. And this is the first Pride NFT. Hopefully it's out there. Love is love. And if you're interested, it is still out there. It's available. And I feel like to celebrate Pride, you need to celebrate the beauty and the hardship. And then for me, I felt like what we don't talk about is that almost nobody has their shit together. And I'm definitely like a hot mess many, many times, but I also feel like that's a part of the human experience. So I want to celebrate that. And this is what I made for the first Monday of June, because my day was so long that I just felt like I need to celebrate Pride, but meanwhile, there's also just Monday. You know, just because it's Pride does not mean your Monday got any smoother. And meanwhile, like I said, I want to talk about issues that exist in our community for anybody who's gay, who has been on, you know, any of the dating apps. You will see a lot of these discrimination, what's the word? Discriminative language. And hopefully, you know, with this and also a lot of other outspoken activists can help us to really combat the discrimination that exists within our beautiful community. And I made this for the last day of Pride. You know, just you look at it, it's like, oh, Pride is over. But you know, if you look a little deeper, it's actually forever. And also, I have a personal fond love for Comic Sans, so I always try to find ways to use that whenever I can. So here is Comic Sans in the flesh, alongside the beautiful font by Sharp Type. What I love about Pride Month is it really allows me to work within a parameter, for example, in the concept of rainbow. How do we channel that and how do we play with that? In other sense is that we could really make a cultural difference. So this year I had the idea, because I'm from China, and in Chinese, we usually don't have gender pronouns in our third person pronoun. However, we have he and she. Therefore, I want to create a non-binary pronoun in Mandarin. So this is what I made, which has been really crazy, doing its own thing on the internet. Somebody just tattooed it on their forehead. So, you know, definitely an honor, but also quite stressful, I have to be honest. That being said, all of those work that you just saw has led us to do a lot of different Pride collabs with different companies and organizations. So this is what we made for the insurance company Lemonade. So this is a star generator, because we believe everybody is a star, and all the quirks and the kinks in the community needs to be celebrated together, because that's what Pride is about. And we're also very honored to help Oreo with their Proud Words campaign. Proud Word is a campaign that talks about the relationship between the LGBTQIA+ child and their parents. What's the first words that you hear from the parent, but what are the words that you wish they would say, or the words that the parents wish they would say to their children? So we're so honored to be a part of this campaign, because we felt like it really touches a nuance and tenderness that a lot of Pride campaigns don't get to express. So we're so lucky to be a part of this campaign. And then this was one of the biggest projects I worked on for Pride ever. I partnered with Harry's, the shaving company. We worked on the Stride with Pride campaign, and Stride with Pride comes with a Never Been Prouder box. The box set has typographic wrapped all around it using a variable font, GT Flexa from Gritty Type, and then it's all over the whole box. And then inside has these dynamic pattern that most people know my work from. And not only we were lucky to produce the box, my store Dazzle Supply is also a part of the merchandise this year to really push the campaign to the next level. We made different tote bags, fanny packs, and mugs. So it's really, really fun, and it's now still available at Harry's. So please check it out. That being said, I want to take everything way back, because what we just talked about is what just happened, right? And I'm gonna bring you all the way back to the Big Bang. By that bang, I meant my parents. So I was born in 1990 in the south of China, a city called Shenzhen, next to Hong Kong, and this is me. The reason I'm showing you all of this is that I think everything, what goes around comes around. A lot of these colorful things that I played with as a kid has come back to my life of work in many, many ways. For example, this is a bootleg Lego that I grew up with. It is not even standing up straight. However, I get to bargain with my parents that we get to have a real Lego if I get straight A's. So of course I won that, and this is my first Lego set, which is a wedding in a clear castle. So I think this image and this choice really settles the nature and nurture debate of homosexuality. That being said, being a young gay child, you have to do your gay homework. And for me, my homework is by studying the fabulous Sailor Moon. And I just want to refresh everybody's memory a little bit to show you what Sailor Moon really is about. So, however, I did not grow into something that as fabulous as Sailor Moon at the time. I actually went super emo. So at the time, I had this alias and / my English name, Phil. And then Phil likes to draw all these very sad illustrations. And that's by no one means dazzling or musical, or it's a very sad musical, very depressed. That being said, I channeled that sadness because I realized I absolutely cannot draw into Photoshop. I learned a lot of different filters, effects, and then that's sort of what got me really into designing posters. And my high school teacher looked at me and he asked me if I'm interested in studying graphic design and in college, because I was destined to study biochemistry. So I just did a full 180 in the last semester of my high school, and basically somewhat dropped out of my high school and then came to America to study design. So I said goodbye to my home, my friends, my family, everything that I'm known for, or said goodbye to good Chinese food for a good probably 10 years, and I moved here. I came here on August 26, 2009. And every time I introduce myself to other people, I was like, hi, I'm Phil from China. But every time right after I said that, they're like, okay, but what's your real name? So my name is Zipeng. Zi means a kid, and then Peng means exuberant. So I had a moment with myself that I decided to let Phil go and then really fully embrace myself as Zappon. And then this is the first photo I took in actually the legendary Gail Anderson's class. She was my junior year teacher. And this is basically a mugshot of, you know, Zappon just murdered Phil. However, this is the first project I did as Zappon. That's me. And with that, I continued with my college education. And the next project I'm about to show you is done in the legendary Paula Scher's class. It's a moving typeface called Electrica. I was very honored with that project. I got my first TDC award, which was really cool. And with that, I think basically that kicked off my career as a student in some ways. This is one of the last projects I'm going to show you from my school, because I think it's important to celebrate the work that you have done, and whether it's from 10 years ago or 2 months ago. So this is Museum of the Moving Image, which is a museum in Astoria, Queens, that celebrates movie, film, TV, and whatever that's moving on screen. So what I did is I put the logo together, created this system that sort of really celebrates the pixelation and also the snowflake from the classic movies. And it creates a system that worked with different movies every single week. What I love about this identity is that it also adapts into other parts of the system as well. It shows up in different stationery, but also the exterior or the entrance, or the indoor signage, that everything is projected, it's moving, it's fun, and it's very cohesive and consistent at the same time. And when you have a gift shop, you must have a gift bag. But when the bag's empty, you have to fill it up with, you know, some t-shirts. And one cool thing about this museum is it actually has a built-in movie theater. So you got to design the popcorn case. So yeah, with that, I'm very happily graduated from my school. I hugged my chair so hard that he released a sign of struggle when I was hugging him. That being said, that was on a Thursday morning. 2 days before that, I got this email from this lady named Jessica Walsh. She was like, oh, do you want to come over? And I was like, I'm busy. So I'll show up on Friday. And I went to the studio with a box of chocolate, as my mom has instructed me. And guess what? The next thing I knew, I started working at Sagmeister and Walsh. And we are known for many things. Getting naked is definitely one of them. I purposely left it out of the talk because I would just let yourself to go through the Google search and enjoy. That being said, this is my first project as the professional graphic designer, and also the first assignment I got after I graduated, which is designing a museum. It's the Jewish Museum. They came to us, they wanted us to create something that is young, fresh, but still pays homage to the Jewish culture. Therefore, we decided to use the sacred geometry as the main concept of the branding. So everything, including the Star of David, originates from the sacred geometry. So we use that for different patterns, moving patterns, illustrations, stationery, custom type, crazy 200 unique ligatures, just to make sure everything writes smoothly. And we also designed every single aspect of the gift shop as well. And this is another sub-typeface called Marquise that I designed, and it's used for display and promotional purposes. And just a little bit more from the newsletter, also to the icon set that is all perfectly snapped to the geometry that we have created. And we use the same system from the sacred geometry to create all these little people as well, that they are in their JM world and then they're having a great time, even though they have no facial expressions. And this is one of the last part that we made for the museum, which is a screensaver to really let the staff to play with the system. So when you walked away, actually turns on the webcam. I mean, this is before privacy was like a huge issue, so bear with us. So you will turn into this, try and go figure, and it's really fun. With the Jewish Museum, with a lot of other projects, the 2.5 years at Sagameister has came to an end. But what I did is I started my own studio. My studio is called Dazzle, and this is our logo. What we did as our studio is to really trying to figure out what is the definition of the word dazzle. So we decided to put out an image every single day to use our logo, but then find ways to really celebrate and then figure out the meaning of the word dazzle. As you can see, here's a callback from the ball pit that I grew up with. There's just so many, and that's definitely inspired by Sailor Moon. And so many of this we can play with. And one thing that we learned from this exercise is that the possibility of the word dazzle is endless. And with that, we actually felt like, okay, we have landed somewhere. Now we're finally ready to take on professional clients. However, all of that was great, right? 2.5 years at this amazing design studio. And then right after that, I started my own. All of these sounds like a dream to me. I was very sad. I felt like there's a part of me that's missing. Like, I was technically yay, in the sense that, I was starting to speak everywhere, doing all these events and having great clients, moving to a new awesome apartment, all of that. But meanwhile, a part of me just felt like something it's missing. And I made this graphic. It's a crying yay. And that was the moment that I realized, oh, what it's missing is that I miss making work just for myself. I miss making work just for the sake of I wanted to, instead of just different client work. So with that, my work has become my therapy session in many ways. So you're about to see what I'm talking about. So for example, I have made many work to channel my anger, in the sense that this is the, even though it does not look angry because it says Go Girls, but this is actually made for the first Women's March, and this was commissioned by Refinery 29. And we also made a lot in response to the last president. And also, this is a general note to most gentlemen out here. Just because you have one does not mean you have to be one, okay? And there's so many different political posters I get to make. This is a chill pill for all the New Yorkers out there, and an anti-racism poster for an exhibition in Berlin. And this is for the Earth Strike. And I believe every day should be Earth Day. It's very important. And with those posters, it sort of allowed us to be a part of this amazing project called Separated, created by the wonderful Shura Inbar. And it's a zine to raise money for kids in the southern border who doesn't have money for their lawyer fees. So far we have raised over $6,000 to help the kids over there. And you can also make work when you feel like a fanboy to the diva that you admire. For example, this is something I made for Gaga's birthday. This one is inspired by Ariana Grande, Severings, hello. Also, I'm a huge fan of Billie Eilish, so there's a lot of fanned art coming your way. So this is my favorite song from her, it's called Copycat. And when she dropped her last album, I decided to create a visualizer to sort of use typography and animation to express the feeling of her songs. And we got commissioned actually to get to work on this amazing project for Garage Magazine. Garage Magazine came to us and the LA Type Foundry Nickel Type, asked us to create a logo for their front cover featuring Rihanna. And then the title of the issue, it's The Human Future. So they wanted a humanistic and futuristic typeface. So the font Riri is born, and Riri is quirky, special, unique, bold, and memorable, just like Rihanna herself. And we like to think that we did it justice, and these are some of our favorite glyphs. And with that experience, Garage Magazine so kindly invited us to come back the second time, which is for the Fusions issue featuring Solange, Robin, and the one and only Telfar. So it was really nice that we get to create work for the artists that we are fans of, but none of this would happen if we didn't do all the other random fan art just for fun. And that being said, you should also make work when you feel love. And this is my old business card. If the pandemic is not going, I will give you one when we see each other in person. And there's just a lot of heart content. And for example, saying love to my mom, very important. And brunch is also very important for me. And looking for love, a lot of Pride stuff. I know that I just show you a ton that I did this year, but there's a lot more that I've done before. So it's the Pride alphabet, just many, many animations that all it's to show you when you feel like making something, you should just do it because it's fun, and also it helps you to exercise your design muscle. But also what's great about that is that you get to really test things that you want hopefully to get paid for, to be honest. And we were asked by this wonderful company called Alex to create a non-Pride collaboration. So this is called the Love Spectrum. It dropped in July last year because we want to do a after Pride celebration to celebrate Pride all year long. So we get to play with different imageries, and when you get the whole pack, you put together as a rainbow. It's really, really fun. We're also very lucky to work with Harry's in 2018 with their Pride campaign featuring the wonderful Craig and Carl's typography. And what we get to do is to create a system that really take over the Union Square subway station. And here's JVN, we love him. And yeah, so there's that. Very, very fun, very, very colorful, and definitely dazzling. Also, we want to make work when you feel like you want to laugh. So this is something for Hump Day, TGIF, Love Fridays, they're great. This is what happened, after a dance party, feeling great that night, but like the next morning, not so much. The weekly mood chart. I mean, This moochart has been changed a little bit ever since the pandemic, but this is what it was before. And the wonderful at Posticles has turned this into a very dynamic and fun 3D animation. And it's also a face filter that's available on my IG. And a logo called TMI. You know, I'll let you figure out that meaning. Deadlines, I'm sure all of us can relate. Also, this is something so dumb. It's called The Long Weekend, and it's inspired by The Weeknd, the singer. And every time he gets a makeover, we will update his outfit as well. So every time we have a long weekend, I will make a long weekend post to celebrate the time that we get to spend away from work. And 3D, Say No More. This is Planet Her, inspired by Doja Cat. And with all of that, I got this email from the wonderful Michael Freemuth from Franklin. And he wanted us to create another Pride campaign for a Pride beer packaging. So this is, the email exchange, I'll let you figure out, and this is the answer. So this is gay IPA. It's floral, fruity, and bitter, just like me. And so this is what the can looks like. And what was crazy is this was launched in June 3 years ago in 2018. But what we got later that Christmas is this puzzle that the client made, which was really bizarre, but really fun. I'm glad that they enjoyed the work, and really happy the work found a home outside of the can, which is really still very bizarre to me. However, that's that. But we also want to make work when we feel like cool, in the sense that you want to make work to really treat yourself at times. So for me, when I turned 26, I decided to create this project called Zalphabet. Because my initials are ZZs, I'm always the last one who's being called, and I'm tired of that. So I decided to design a set of alphabets that they all animated into the letter Z. So no matter how you start, it's gonna start with me. And it's not only fun for me to create a birthday project for myself, but also it's just such a great way to test different things that I didn't really get to play with on my own. And with that, we got asked by the wonderful Mikotype from LA to create this animation for Adidas variable font. And then this year, we're very lucky. We got invited to create a campaign for the wonderful company, cosmetic company, Drunk Elephant. And as I mentioned, none of these would happen if we didn't constantly put out different animated things out just for ourselves. And then we're so glad that we get to find ways to help our client using the tests that we've made just for fun for ourselves. And we also want to make work when we feel a little nerdy. So I learned 3D about 2 years ago. I use Adobe Dimension because all the other 3D software was too clever, too smart for me. So I basically use this very simple software and start to make 3D-dimensional work. And I gave myself a digital garden with, plants that hopefully would never die on me. Also just a lot of different other expressions that it really took my work to a new dimension, like more pun intended, I guess. We got invited for Adobe to create an alphabet for their 36 Days of Type project. So this is the geometry 3D letter that we created for the project. And we also get to work on this amazing club called Blacklight. And Blacklight is this club in Lower East Side that was gonna open last April, but it's gonna open soon, hopefully. So everybody hopefully can enjoy it. And what's cool and fun about this club, and I want you to pay close attention to this animation I'm about to show you, because that's the whole idea it's based on, which is this blossoming flower. Blacklight, it's a 24-hour space venue, so it really activates for different purposes throughout the different times of the day. So on the left is the morning, which is the cafe. From noon to night, it's a restaurant, and also have a lounge that starts at late night, and then when it comes to late night, it becomes a nightclub. And this is the identity system that we get to create for the company. And what is really fun about this is we get to create different parts of experience with different designs. So this is for the morning cafe, and this is for the restaurant. The reason we picked this color is because that's the space of the skylight. We have a pink skylight, which is really, really cool, that can really create work that is inspired by the architecture, and not only just coming from a design, like a graphic inspiration. And what's truly fun is we get to turn it way up to create a set of very seductive posters and visual graphics for the club. And we cannot wait for this place to open up. So hopefully everybody can really enjoy what we have made for the past 2.5 years. And this is the website, obviously. We also get to help this wonderful company called Novo, based in San Diego, California, to create this packaging for their kombucha beer. And what the brief was to create something that is truly simple, systematic, but yet colorful and unique at the same time, because they constantly put out different flavors every month. So we decided to create this systematic pattern system that animates uniquely, and you can swap out different color palettes and different details to really celebrate the individual flavor. And this is my personal favorite, called Momo Haze, and it's really dazzling. And this is some of the work in progress that from our client in the breweries. It's really cool that you get to see a lot of these in real life, and it tastes great and it looks great, and it's just a really great time for friends and family and gatherings. And then this is another project we get to work on for the VMAs last year. It's honestly a dream come true, thanks to the wonderful Rich Tooth for inviting us to really take over the Barclay Center, the subway station. And it's just so crazy to see the work that you did are big in the city that you live in. And you also want to make work when you feel loved. And this is something that I made for my school, SVA. And that plus this project are both created with the wonderful and the one and only my dear friend Gail Anderson for the School of Visual Arts where I went to, also where she went to. Yeah, it's really great that you get to give back to the place that taught you everything. So it's really great to feel like it's a full circle. And also it's just cool to see subway posters in the city that you live in. And just so you don't believe me, this is a real footage that I captured in the subway. I'm gonna speed up a little bit because we're almost out of time, but there are two more subject matters I want to talk about because I think it's really important to, like, us as creators, in many times creativity is what we need to get through our life, especially like we want to using creativity to cope. And for example, last year, we're still in the middle of a pandemic. This virus is going around, and for me as a Chinese person, that it has been very difficult, and I'm sure in many parts of the Asian community. However, we think it's really important to talk about issues that, even though it's uncomfortable for us to talk about, or the issues that nobody else is talking about. So for me, I think the fear and the paranoia definitely spreads faster than the virus. And to combat with that, humor is a great way. For example, I think, the mask is basically a condom for your face, protects yourself and other people. And that being said, you can also create work that generates positivity to hopefully lift people up in a trying time. Or you can, remind them, the XOXO is coming soon. And, or to make light out of something that's difficult, or even when the time becomes blurry, when time gets tough, there's always ways for you to express yourself and then to cope with it. Yeah, I just updated my dating bio, fully vaccinated, very happy about it. And same with the election. I actually had to move out of my apartment to rent an Airbnb for 3 months because I did not know whether Biden was going to win or not. Because I swear to God, if that did not happen, I'm just going to move somewhere else. But that being said, I was so glad that all the work that, because I cannot vote as an immigrant, making work that express my self-expression has become so important. So this is a project we did with apply stickers, a set of sticker to motivate people to vote. And then I was also very lucky to be on the cover of New York Magazine to create a new set of I Voted sticker alongside Cause and Barbara Kruger. It's really cool. And I also had the work all over Times Square, thanks to Print Magazine, Poster House, and Freeform. And just so crazy to see the work that you made for the gram and it become these, 90 feet tall screens in Times Square. And I want us to remember to make it look cute because that's what we're here for. And Black Lives Matter, and activism matters. Stop Asian hate, because justice, it's so important. And we're people, not viruses. And lastly, hate has no place here. Anyways, I hope we can all make it work and make it rain. And you can find me at all the 3 Instagram accounts. And thank you so much for letting me share my time. And hopefully you're inspired to make more work in response to time.
Thank you so much for that presentation, Zipeng. It looks like we have basically one question that everybody wants to know in the chat and the Q&A, which is what tools do you use for your animation?
Oh, After Effects, very simple. I mean, I would say everything started the most simple Photoshop GIF maker, like the frame by frame. But from that, I was very lucky that I took a After Effects class in college. And then when I started at SAGMeister, I was the only person who could animate. So I really picked on a lot of the animation. Yeah, so that was my answer. But now I'm venture a little bit into the 3D animation route. So hopefully there will be more of that coming in the not so distant future.
Awesome. Well, thank you again for that presentation and for everybody's questions. And you're getting lots of love here in the chat if you have a chance to dip into that shortly.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you. See you soon.